Hey everyone, Josh here. It is Tuesday afternoon, just kind of hanging out. Mail just showed up. Amazon delivered Hazmat Man and this White Knight 2-pack. I'm a big White Knight fan, really excited about opening those up. See if anybody ends up jumping on here. Last time I went live, it ended up there were like 20 people or so in here all commenting and stuff. It was pretty fun. It's pretty lively. What I'm planning on doing today, I'll go over this again. But I saw somebody on Facebook modded their Etrigan, and they cut little grooves out here so that he could get a better bend at the elbow. So I'm gonna just try to use an X-Acto knife and carve out little notches there so that it's got more. Hey, what's up, Legend of Flight? How's it going, man? What's happening today? Anybody doing anything cool? Been doing some work this morning. Had to finish some do this video for a client who was launching a Kickstarter, and they needed a promo video, but then they wanted that promo video cut into smaller, like social media size clips. So it threw us a few extra bones to edit those. So that's my day. That's what I've been doing on Tuesday morning. I just showed these off a second ago, but mail showed up today with this Hazmat Batman. I'm really stoked to open that up. And White Knight 2-pack. Sword fight, Batman and Azrael. Anybody playing Halo? Anybody playing Halo today? The multiplayer's out. I'm waiting on the campaign personally. It's not an online multiplayer fan. It's 5 p.m. in the UK. What kind of classes you got there, Legend of Light? I just did you just got Dr. Fate. I got him shipped a few months ago at this point, but I'm just now seeing him in the stores here. And actually yesterday I was at Target and I saw they had just stocked up on the Snyder Cut wave, which I had barely seen any of those in person. I'd seen a couple at Walmart, like Cyborg. So I wasn't planning on getting them, but I found the black suit Henry Cavill, and I saw it, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get it because it just looked too good. Plus, I was looking for, I don't know if I talked about this a while back. I'm trying to sell my Snyder Cut figures as a lot, but I didn't want to get rid of the blue and red Henry Cavill Superman. So I'll get him out and play with him a little bit, but then I'll lump him in with those others and sell them as a lot. Like, I'll price it to sell. I'm not going to like make a profit really. What's up, Evil Villain? How's it going, buddy? But I'll price those Snyder Cut figures to sell. I'm not gonna make much money off of them. I would just rather get rid of them at a decent price. Yeah, Legend of Light is talking about his class load right now. Yeah, that sounds intense, man. Masters in Sociology and Social Research. Yeah, that sounds pretty intense. But very interesting. Very interesting. I was reading the second John Dies at the End book, which is called This Book is Full of Spiders. And if you don't know John Dies at the End, it's like It's like if kind of like Beavis and Butthead were in the X Files, kind of like it's like stoner slacker guys, but they're doing all this crazy supernatural shit. There's a movie. You should be able to watch the movie pretty easily. But the second book is about this like virus outbreak that's kind of turning people into zombies, more or less. There's specific details that vary, but the idea is that there are these zombies, and there's a character in it who's a professor of um, like mass hysteria and mass panic and stuff like that. So that's kind of the theme of the book is tribalism, the way people's minds work during um, crisis situations. It's also very funny. People get their intestines sucked out through their butts, shit like that. It's not all just like heavy heavy stuff, but I'm a big fan of those books. The third one, not a big fan. It was my least favorite. So the most recent one um, was a little lower in my estimation. Actually, speaking of books, I just got this Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the novel. This came out of like a few months ago in like a pulp paperback, like a small, like an airport, kind of thing. And this is the hardcover one. But it actually, what I love about it is it has these at the end. It has a bunch of the artwork and stuff, but it has this entire Mad Magazine, like Rick Dalton comic in it. But I just got this out of the mail, so I haven't actually read it yet. Something I'm going to do here in a little bit. How long am I going to move in on here? 7 minutes. I saw somebody do this on a Facebook group, like a DC Multiverse Facebook group, but they cut little notches out of Etrigan's armor here, and they were able to get more elbow bend out of it. So that's I'm gonna do that in a minute. Something that just happened like right before I went live here is this Etrigan's head thing popped off. It should be an easy fix. It just came out of this sort of socket thing. I had kind of been putting some stress on it, moving his head around and stuff. I didn't love the way this collar fits kind of snug around his head. His pointy ears get in the way a little bit. But I mean, it's a good figure, and actually, the more I get it out and play with it, the more I like it. But I just have to fix this now. Anyway, I'll deal with that in a minute. Now his head has fallen off. It's bothering me. I was in a good place mentally, and now that has thrown off my whole day. Playing with this Halo Mantis, from the Halo 4-inch line. I don't know if anybody's messed with these at all, but they're really fun. Like this is a 4-inch Master Chief, and this is in my opinion, this is kind of like the Jazzwares is making these, and they don't have to go so hard, but they do. And like, look at this. It's a 4-inch figure. It's got a double knee, and he's got this knee pad here that then tucks under. See, look at that. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite that slick on a 4-inch figure. And then like he has invisible thigh cuts that rotate like that. It's really nice. They're a little, the plastic's kind of low grade. Like you hear that squeak. It's that kind of like brittle crap. It's got some limitations in kind of his elbows, so he can't really hold a gun like a rifle sort of the way I want it to, but these are a blast. Oh, you know what? Legends of Light's talking about his animated Superman, but that reminds me. Hang on, let me grab something real quick. this isn't exactly what you were talking about. What's up, Zooey Mama? Um, Somebody pointed out in the I did a Superman ranking video, and somebody pointed this out. His butterfly things on my Superman, this classic one, they're backwards. You see that stubby? That's supposed to be more tapered. Let me see here. Do I have another guy here? Like, see the way this is his butterfly thing in there? It's tapered to a point. This is the stubby end. And I've got a friend that has this exact same figure. His are the same way too. And the person that commented, like, I was like, oh wow, thanks for pointing that out, because I never noticed it. I mean, maybe I had, but I hadn't like kind of clocked it, but hadn't figured out what exactly the issue was. He said his was the same way. So that's 3 people. So that's got to be a widespread QC thing. Yeah, Legend of Light. Are you talking about the 7-inch Halo ones? Hey, what's up, Barton? Yeah, the butterfly ring is too short. Have you tried flipping yours? Or is it just a weird bad? Because I think I tried to pop his arms out too, and they were just. I need to give some warm water, probably. Maybe. Let's find out. Let's just. Am I gonna break this thing on this live right now? Let's find out. Legend of Light, that 7-inch Halo line is really cool. My buddy's got the Master Chief, and they did a what do we call it? A black wash on him. Made all the details really pop, and yeah, it's super. It's got almost the exact same posability as this one, maybe slightly more range. It's still kind of that squeaky, brittle plastic, which it's fine. They're $20, you know. They came with a ton of hands and several weapons. But I mean, I've been going down the rabbit hole in army building with this 4-inch line, and I just saw they have they've got a weapons pack coming out that has like the Marines, like gun crates and big gun lockers and stuff. It's badass. I think you have to rotate the butterfly joints. Yeah, I think in the chat they're talking about how McFarlane's figure quality's come down in the last year, and he's more focused on producing more figures rather than better. I think that's generally true. It seems like but actually, even a year ago, it was still the case. I think that the Build-A-Fig waves had a little bit more love, and they were pushing harder on different features and trying new things. And I think that's still the case. That seems to be the Build-A-Fig waves are the stronger releases, I think, usually. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to everything, but vertical hinges for the gun hands on the on the Halo, you're right. Because you want to be able to get this head keeps coming off. But the hinges, the great thing about the ball joints is that they can do that, and then once you rotate it, anyway, you get it. Being able to hinge the wrists on 2 axes. If you weren't here earlier, the mail came. Really, really stoked about opening this up. This is like exactly my taste level. This is the non gold label one, so it doesn't light up. But I'm gonna get that one too. And I mean, no accessories. Really annoyed by no accessories on this. He should have like a PKE meter, like a radiation detector thing, a gadget, you know. But I'm just so stoked about this, like, ridiculous. I mean, if you grew up back in the day, every Batman line was just Batman variants over and over and over again. And this, like, very speaks very much to me of that like ridiculous variant hazmat suit, like volcano mission, ice mission, Batman. And then this came too, which I'm a huge White Knight fan. Pretty stoked about this. Uh, I never did. I got that Azrael before I started this channel, so I never reviewed him. I think this Azrael's badass. Really, really stoked to talk about that. Vartan, did you that Mandarin spawn? Did you get the one with all the extra um accessories and weapons and stuff? 'Cause that was a pretty good package. I don't think these are gonna come off. I need to like warm water them. Yeah, I want a Nightfall repaint of that Azrael too. I mean, and I would settle for a repaint if they wanted to do a few details a little different. I would thank them for that. Yeah, yeah. The no, you guys are talking about the no gun thing too. It is what it is. What's the only? I mean, you can get toy guns for action figures. There's workarounds to that no gun thing. As annoying as it is, but what are they gonna do for Mister Freeze? Are they gonna just categorize that as a gun? Because that's insane. His freeze blaster thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the workaround's gonna be, or if they're gonna do that. What was it back in the day? There was a toy line, or maybe multiple toy lines, where their logic was they could call their guns blasters, and that passed basically. But man, they're being real sticklers. I do love that in that one Red Hood has a hand that's just like pointing finger guns. That's pretty. I like that hand. It's crazy that he didn't have any guns, but um, yeah, it's silly. Nightfall repainted as Azrael. If you, I mean, it's in there. It's mostly there. You know, the details are a little bit off. Sean Murphy changed some stuff, and then what was it? The cape. Does the Nightfall Azrael have those pointy things on his shoulders, like that are part of his cape, like the way his like flags come out? I can't. I don't know how to describe what I'm talking about. From AT&T. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Discovery will probably allow them. Saying Warner Brothers is getting sold to Discovery. Discovery doesn't give a shit. I've worked for Discovery. They don't give a shit. Um, yeah, the pointy shoulder thing. Yeah, so hopefully, like they could retool that cape to make it a little more Nightfall-y. Um, let's see. Oh, I know I talked about this earlier, but there were fewer people in here. I also found this in the store yesterday. Wasn't planning on getting it, but I hadn't seen it in person, and yeah. So even though I've been talking about getting rid of the Snyder Cut figures, I've got still bought this. Can't say no. Pop culture heroes saying laser blasters are more politically correct because it's not based on a real gun or advocating for real guns. I mean that logic makes sense to me, but is that actually true? Is my question. Like if you put a laser, are they going to allow you to have laser blasters? Because I haven't seen any DC figs, you know, with laser blasters. Ever since they said no gun, it's just been straight up no guns, and there's just been nothing even in that. I don't know. I don't know. Should I try to start? I'm gonna start trying to cut this this Etrigan, even though I popped his stupid head off. And that's, I mean, I'm gonna have to give up on this. Maybe I'll try that another time. So I'm gonna try to cut this. Yeah, I think Varden's saying laser blasters are no go as well. I think so too. It seems like it. Yeah. So I'm trying to do double duty here. I'm trying to pay attention, but also cut this toy with a X-Acto knife. Figures without guns suck. I mean, I the gun culture in America is ridiculous. That's a whole other thing. It's way overblown. So in some ways, I'm like appreciating that. Okay, they're trying to do something. They're trying to affect some sort of change. You know what I mean? But it's just silly because these are like because the Suicide Squad figures came without guns. That's an R-rated movie. That's for adult collectors. It's not for little kids. You know. I mean, they just do a gun pack. They have their online store now. Just do a gun pack. They need to do it. 'Cause not just because I mean it would make them money, but also it feels like a sign of like goodwill of like, oh, we're making a good faith effort to try to give you guys the things that you're definitely clearly asking for. Martin said, "You happy we got Grim Knight first?" Yeah, no kidding, man. Yeah, if you have Grim Knight, man, that thing's like a endangered species. I wonder if that's worth any more right now. If I cut my finger off on this live stream, would I get? Do you think I would get more views? Yeah, pop culture hero saying America has too many guns, but Batman is kind of vigilante fantasy. Not like he does not have them. The Batmobile and Batwing are fully armed. Um, Harold, I don't keep the cards. I usually don't keep the boxes even. Um, yeah, and pop culture hero, kind of what you're saying, about Batman's a vigilante fantasy. Batman also, in my opinion, um, a lot of his best stories are about failure. You know what I mean? And that whole like part of his psyche thing is he failed his parents and then does everything that he can to like try to affect change, and then he himself, fails too. I mean, I think that's the interesting part about. I mean, one of the most interesting things about superheroes in general. It's not a good. There's not drama when somebody just does something easily, without a lot of effort. That's not good drama. You want to see people struggle and stuff, and Batman's got some of the best struggles. I don't know if Exacto knife is the best tool for this. It's a little thick. I mean, I'm putting a ding in it, but it's also just hard to get to this here. You got two left shins on your Grim Knight. People were saying I remember back when that Deathstroke came out that he had like his shins were on the wrong sides or something. I don't know. This is probably not super entertaining watching me cut this thing with a. I'm not even doing the cutting on camera. This is really bad live. Yeah, Barton's saying it's hypocritical if they advertise the characters with guns in all media but arbitrarily remove them from collector toys. Then what's the point? Yeah, yeah, it's silly. But I mean, it's like there's such an obvious solution. There's there's the toy aisle with the Marvel Legends and stuff, and then there's the NECA section, or they have those in Walmart, they have them in Target, they have them in. I mean, so your retail spaces can still have that. Um, you could separate the kids stuff from the grown up stuff. I'm making some progress. I don't have the right tool for this right now. So I wonder if I should. No, I'm just gonna keep plugging along like this. And ideally, this is just gonna be hidden. Once I have these elbows bent, you're not gonna really see the inside of the arm anymore. So hopefully the cuts will not be. Yeah. Martin's saying some third party will make a weapons pack in scale. I wish they were more. What is 7 inch? Is that 1/8 or 1/10? What do they call it? What do they categorize that as? I'm curious. Because there's a real lack of Bones. What's up, buddy? Hey, man. Thanks for being in here. Good to see you, man. Uh, yeah, because there's a real lack of like 7 inch. I mean, just dio, kind of accessories and chairs and things like that. That's what I would like to see. 110, yeah. 110 scale. I think that is what it is, because what I want to do when it comes out, the Batmo Beast, how you can take the body off of it and it's got that like roll cage underneath it. I would like to get correct scale model uh, car parts and paint them and make them look like rusty and like they're from different things, and hang them on that Batmo Beast like frame, as if it's like a real like wasteland like Mad Max car. Mango Man, what's up, buddy? I'm not gonna get. I thought about getting the bloody variant of that Violator, and the Violator is really dope. I just couldn't justify getting it again, even though truthfully, the bloody one might be the one I would rather have. I don't know. I'm just kind of. I got it. I had the experience. It's really great. I just don't need to spend $50 and do it all over again. And I'm not really a completist. I'm not like necessarily chasing every single thing. Like if it's a specific team or whatever, it's really doing it for me. I'll try to get everything in that. But you guys are talking about that Spawn wave. Really excited about that She Spawn. Speaking of characters with guns, I mean, I would like them to do more of those. Like Barton was talking about that. He got that Mandarin Spawn, the one that it was $40 that comes with all the different accessories and stuff. Do those like fully kitted out like figures. Just I'll pay a little bit more. I'm sure I'm not the only one. If I think I got one of these almost gone here. What are people's thoughts about yeah, what are you guys thinking about those gun, like you guys are talking about the Spawn stuff, and I assume you guys were aware of Spawn from back in the day and all that, and probably collected McFarlane toys back in the heyday. Does the newer style, like, does that bother you guys? I'm curious because I kind of like it. It just fits the art style of like the DC figures. So that's why I like it, but it's not They don't look like they used to. They used to be. I feel like the new ones are almost a little Disney-fied. You know what I mean? I think this is almost done. It's starting to separate. Yeah, Barton, you like the new style. I like the new style too. I wish there was a little more paint detail and stuff, but yeah, Legend of Light. I'm with you too. Like I'm happy these ones can move around, and I don't know. I just prefer. I mean, Legends. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but they do this shit like when you bend the waist. Look at this big ugly. You can see that just flat piece right there, and then the hinge. It works great, but it looks like crap. It looks terrible. It's so ugly. I just much prefer this the way they've got this. You know, so we bend them at the waist. You're not looking at ugly flat plastic. The cut across here just makes more sense than a just very mechanical looking hinge. You know. Yeah, Mango Man saying if they could combine the new style with the old paint apps. Yeah, I wish. I wish they could, because that would be my preference too. Pop Culture Hero saying he prefers the old Manga Mech Spawn line. I never got any of those, but I had just kind of I think tapped out right that or actually what it was is I just wasn't buying the Spawn waves anymore. I was getting like Movie Maniacs and some of those. You guys remember those monster 2 packs that they had that they were like little 4 inch or maybe even smaller kind of guys that would have a diorama. So it would be like a Frankenstein's monster, and he would be on the bed, like in the laboratory, and then the other figure would come up was like Igor, mad scientist or whatever. Those were badass. All right, I got one of these cut. Look at this. So cut that out. This one's got isn't cut yet, but this one has a little notch in it. Are we seeing that? It's hard to see it, but it definitely does make a difference. This is the one that's cut. Definitely definitely helps a little bit. Hopefully, the goal is that by the end of this, once these are both cut, then he'll be able to hold the sword with 2 hands. I was Varden. I was thinking about the Dremel too, but just it's so tight in here, and it's such a tiny little area, and it's tucked away, and then there's stuff I don't want to accidentally nick on either side of it, kind of. Yeah, Barton's talking about the that GameStop Mandarin spawn that had all the extra accessories and stuff. It was fun, and that shield especially was the coolest accessory I thought. It had paint on the front and the back. I mentioned it earlier. Is anybody playing the new Halo? I'm waiting for the campaign. I just online multiplayer isn't. I'm just more all about a good solid story mode. I have been replaying the GTA trilogy and that. Here's my hot take. I think San Andreas is better than Grand Theft Auto 5. Uh, I think the map of the old San Andreas feels like I don't know. I'm not saying this is true, but it feels like when you're playing it that it has more to do per square foot of map, if that makes sense. Um, Plus, the story's better. I didn't pick up the Dune Wave, although if they had a sale. Did anybody get that email about the on the McFarlane Toy Store about that Dune Wave where it was like if you spend $75, it's like 50% off, I think. So you could get that whole build a fig wave, 5 figures for $50, I think, plus shipping. It's a pretty good deal. If um if there was a little more variety in that wave, I would definitely do it. But that they're all in those desert suits. I can't remember the name of their still suits. Is that what it is? Um, but they look pretty fun. The Dune figures, I mean. Well, Vartan's saying that Javier Bardem sculpt is probably the best likeness Todd's done. I don't think I'm not even sure if I've seen that one in the store. I know I've seen everybody else. I've seen the what's his name, Chimothy, and the woman who's in the Mission Impossible movies. Those looked good. The Momoa was bad, right? On that Dune wave. Are they 0 for 2 on Momoas now? Aquaman and Dune suck. Um, you guys talk about Harold. I don't have an extra merciless body. Sorry. If anybody can help Harold out, he's looking for a merciless body. Um, but speaking of Marvel Legends, I saw the new Doctor Strange, not the What If one, but the Spider-Man Doctor Strange yesterday, and I grabbed one for my buddy, and I went to the checkout, and it was street dated, but the guy let me buy it anyway. And actually, I was buying this Superman at the same time, and I'd rung this up, and it was 1999. So the guy was like, was that 1999?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I got that. But I don't know if that street date was real or whack. I don't know what their thing is with the Spider-Man wave from Legends, because they're holding back. Like they've got 3 separate Spider-Man suits. There hasn't even been a trailer for them. But I think those weird new suits might be red herrings or something, and that they're holding back because you know how Legends will, like, they've done it for the shows. They'll put a wave out, and then after a new, like, Loki or WandaVision, they're like, "Oh, by the way, we got a Owen Wilson figure coming out. We didn't tell you." I think they're gonna do that once they reveal that Toby and Andrew Garfield are coming back. Yeah, I've already talked about the toy leaks on the to spoil the Spidey movie. Yeah, it's been. I mean, we all know we know they're coming back, right? That's not still like speculative. They're definitely going to be in it. I got to say, while we're talking about Marvel stuff, uh, watched Shang-Chi over the weekend. Loved it. Totally loved it. I was just kind of like feeling after I saw Black Widow. The Marvel shows have been pretty good. WandaVision was very good. Loki was pretty darn good. Falcon and Winter Soldier was fine. Um, they felt a little cheap. They felt a little, you know what I mean? They cost less, or they the money they spent on those seasons was kind of drawn, stretched farther than a 2 hour movie. They did 6 hours or whatever. Um, so between those shows feeling a little bit more quaint, and then Black Widow feeling kind of just like almost, I just didn't like Black Widow, just didn't do it for me. So I was kind of feeling a little tapped out on Marvel for a minute, and then so I didn't go see Shang Chi in the theaters. I waited for it to come on Disney Plus, and we watched it over the weekend. It was fantastic. My girlfriend loved it as well, um, and she had kind of been feeling the same way, which was just kind of lukewarm about it. So with that turning out really good, we also weren't planning on seeing Eternals in theaters, but now it's like, all right, well, we should go see it. Oh yeah, see, Daredevil showing up in the Spider-Man. The Netflix show was fine for me. It didn't quite. This sounds really insane to say that this. I thought I kind of liked the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I know that seems really bananas, but there was a lot of stuff I liked about that. I mean, some of it was dumb as hell, but I liked that like leather motorcycle looking Daredevil outfit from the Ben Affleck movie. Barton, you're pretty skeptical about Phase 4. I was, and then Shang Chi really kind of knocked my socks off, and so now I'm like, all right, I'm paying attention to Phase 4. But yeah, I think it's gonna come in starts and stops and fits, and I think it'll take a while to get going. Hopefully, I mean, after Loki, I'm really pretty stoked about this whole multiverse thing. But John Murphy, I agree that Andrew Garfield was horrible as Spider-Man. He's like a dickhead. Like it just didn't fit at all. He was like a yeah. Yeah, for the time, Martin is saying that for the time, the Affleck Daredevil wasn't bad, especially the R-rated director's cut that came out on DVD after the fact. That was way better. It had a um, subplot with Coolio, the rapper Coolio, and he was on trial, and Matt and Foggy were his defense. And so there was a whole thing about that. The action was a little. It was R rated. It wasn't like it was like noticeably more violent. I think it was just like the action scenes were kind of a little more. I don't know. They just had a little bit of a. I don't know. They're just cooler. I guess I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you liked the Michael Clark Duncan Kingpin more than the Vincent D'Onofrio one. I think that's interesting. I mean, I like Colin Farrell was a good bullseye. Yes, I agree, John Murphy. Um, I liked how in the Michael Clark Duncan they fought. You know what I mean? And like that Kingpin like beat his ass. It was great. That was good. I liked that. All right, I think I got this other one up. All right, so we got two notches here. I think that's a little bit better. I mean, now I have to fix his head, but oh yeah, yeah. You can see. I mean, this is gonna hold a sword with two hands. I think now. Let's get him. I mean, what you know, I'm working on making it so that he can hold his sword with two hands. But I think if you played, you know, with enough toys, that you know, for one, very uncommon that character can hold something with two hands. I mean, depending on what toy line. But and that is really that's not even good enough. They should be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's nobody hold. It's very this is a very uncommon sword holding position. Just that. I, why can't we get toys that can do this? I mean, I know why. I'm just complaining. I have seen some of those legends that have the really big like cuts for the butterfly, like so that Wolverine can like get his. But man, they're so ugly. They're so ugly to cut into the chest like that. I'm actually doing the patent to take the hand off and put it on the accessory first. I did not have that 10th anniversary Spawn, but my friend had it, and we used it in that Spawn Dreamhouse commercial that I mentioned last week. If Now is a great time to go hop in, open up a new tab, open up YouTube, and search Spawn Dreamhouse. But anyway, that one that was articulated, he had those big butterflies too. That thing, it was nice. It was really nice. People act, because it was the closest thing to a articulated Spawn we had at the time. I think people held it in a higher esteem than it was maybe worth. Um, well, I mean, yeah. Here we go. Look at this. I mean, he just looks like a baseball player. Batter up. Yeah. I mean, and this head won't even stay on now. So this is. I mean, it's not bad. It's just a little silly. It's a little unnatural. Let me try it with the sword pointing down now. Maybe this will look better. Yeah, but my buddy, he's got that Spawn. He's got like the Spawn with the um, throne, which is a. If you know what, if I had, that's probably the one that I never got. That if I had to get one Spawn, if I could get one Spawn that I never got, that'd be the one with the throne. So he's got like no posability because he's meant to just sit in that chair, but that chair is badass. It's a little better. Bard saying you're Todd Grail. You missed the Jaws diorama. I remember that thing. That was badass. The Conan on the Aquilonian throne. I don't know if I remember that one. But that does remind me. My I think my Todd Grails might be those Simpsons ones that he did. He did he did a couch, the whole Simpsons couch. It looks fantastic. He did a few others though. He did like the Lard Lad, the donut mascot thing, like from the Treehouse of Horror where it was came to life and was killing people. And the Homer, another Treehouse of Horror where he was that he was in hell and that donut machine was like feeding him the donuts and he was like oh oh oh. That whole contraption like that fed the donuts and those things were really cool. They're a weird scale. I think that's what kept me from getting them. That also makes me think. Last week we were in here talking and somebody asked if I had any were there any like my if I could if Todd McFarlane Toys could make like any toy line that I wanted, like what would it be? And I didn't have a great answer at the time because we were talking about the Princess Bride figures, So we're talking about like what other license would be cool for him to have, and my answer is Starship Troopers, the Marines, Rico, um, what's his name, Michael Ironside with the robot arm, uh, and then yeah, Rico Dizzy, the Gestapo Doogie Howser, maybe even Denise Richards in her officer uniform, but then with the megafig scale, they do the arachnid. That's what I want. Yeah, yeah, they should have already done these figures like a long time ago. And nobody's really ever really made good ones. They made some back in the day that were ass. They were complete garbo. Oh, there's a Revoltech arachnid. I gotta look that up. I'm looking that up right now. Hang on. I gotta know. I gotta know if that's true. Well, it just came back with Spider-Man. I'll look more for that in the future because I want to. Yeah, build a bug. Yes. Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's what I want. What do we think about this? I mean, it's cool. I think it's cooler. It's nice that he can do this. It kind of looks pretty badass. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, all right, this figure is pretty fun. He's missing paint. Everything's missing paint now, though. Oh, Figma. All right, I'm gonna check that out. Oh, we've been on here for like 50 minutes. I spent half the thing just cutting this thing with an X-Acto knife. This has probably been a boring live, but I can live with that. They're not gonna be home runs, guys. Sitting around here. Here's my little safety thing: is I use a wine cork on my X-Acto knife. You have to cut a hole in it, but then once you do, you have this little sheath. Safety first, folks. Oh, anything got any other topics they want to cover before I sign off here? I need to review these figures. I will probably try to record those this afternoon. Because I already have the light in here and stuff. I have to bring this light in here every time, so if it's in here, I might as well go ahead and just commit to doing it. And I wasn't planning on reviewing this Superman. I mean, is anybody dying to see this? He's been out for a few months, and I did the blue and red one. We've seen it. They're not good. When I review something and it's just like a repaint, I've already done it. They're not good or interesting. Yeah, Varden, I appreciate you being in here, man. I haven't figured out like I've thought about scheduling the lives, but I know like in my head I'm gonna like build that up that whole and have that scheduled like thing looming closer. Um, so I just don't want to do it. I don't want to commit and say, oh, I'm gonna be here at 11 a.m. on whatever day. Yeah, because as soon as I do that, I'm gonna be like, I don't want to do that at 11 a.m. on that day. That sounds like terrible. Pattinson Batman set. It looks all right. I just the live action figures. I want figures that are more like this style, this comic booky exaggerated style. I know I'm saying that I sound like a hypocrite because I'm saying that, and I just got this Henry Cavill, but I usually just don't prefer the live action characters. The hazmat suit gold label I am getting. I have it pre-ordered, and I'm sure that will be the preferred version. But I've just, you know how it is. I just want to get my hands on this. Oh, figure that I'm looking forward to most by the end of the year. Mine is probably also that year 2 Bats, but that Killing Joke Joker. Vartan, no, I have the blue and red Cavill. Yeah. Um, the year two bats. Swamp Thing is going to be pretty badass. Uh, oh, you know what? Oh, we're gonna have we're gonna have many words about this in the future. That Birds of Prey Harley. I am stoked for that. For one, it was supposed to come out like wave one or wave two, canceled. And then a full like 2 years later, it's finally coming out. So that's a big factor. But then really, I think Birds of Prey is badass, and I'm gonna annoy the shit out of you guys with how much I like Birds of Prey. This is my promise to you. I promise to not stop talking about Birds of Prey. Everybody's way too hard on that movie. That movie, for one, medium scale, low stakes comic book movie. We need more of those. We need more comic book movies where it's not the end of the world every time and just CG 9/11 buildings being destroyed and CG armies of guys fighting like Lord of the Rings. It's tired. We've seen it. We need more movies like Birds of Prey where it's just a few people and they kick the shit out of each other with their hands and their feet. And just the stunt work in that movie is so good with the roller skate thing and the cars and flipping over. Oh, it's good. It's good. It has colors in it. It's got um, fantastic, like, they do that thing in the crime scene where it's like it's all in one move and they change the lighting and they change the set dressing like behind the camera, like real old school, like fun cinematic strips. Well, I'm gonna talk about this even more in the future. I promise you. Uh, White Knight Joker body. The Rob's asking about the White Knight Joker body. I think that's the best figure that they've done. The GTO Joker. I don't know if that. Let's actually give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab some. All right, Rob's. It was asking about putting the Cesar Romero Joker on this White Knight body. Let's see how close the heads are. I don't have that Romero Joker. The heads are a little bit smaller, though. I don't know. It might be a fit. It might be a fit. It's worth a shot. I mean, because these White Knight figures were a little bit smaller. Yeah, like Barton's saying, the White Knight figures they're a little bit smaller than the rest of these 7-inch figures, so it might work. Just trying to see now. Trying to compare their head sizes. Is that? Yeah, the Superman's a little bit bigger. Disregard the Joker's long jaw because that's exaggerated. I think it might work. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. This has been fun. Always a good time talking to you guys. Yeah, Barton's saying the Batman heads are small too, with Romero's hair puffed out. It might work. Yeah, yeah. Robs, if you try this, let us know. Just post a follow up like on one of my videos in the comments or something if that ends up working out. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for being in here and participating in the conversation. And I will talk to you all later. See you next time.